Man, I cannot stop grinning. Boy, the Philadelphia Eagles at home are able to pull this one out against the Buffalo Bills. An improbable win, one they shouldn't have won 2 weeks in a row. We'll get into the logistics, but man, a lot of this was a mirror match from last week, and we were able to overcome the odds once again. What's up? It's your boy Cintron coming back at you with another analysis video. I kid you not, that's my real name. 37-34, the final score in this one, and it was a barn burner. Went into overtime, our second overtime match and our second overtime win of the year. But man, it made you a little nervous down towards the end. But like I've said in so many consecutive weeks, the Eagles have conditioned me. I'm now the cool, calm, and collected customer. Shout out to Tom Grossi, the Grossi squad coming through and raiding my channel in the midst of it. I mean, just wonderful thing upon wonderful thing happening. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys from the bottom of my heart. And yeah, man, it just was a wonderful day to be a Philadelphia Eagle fan. And let's just break down kind of the game and give a synopsis before we get into our usual breakdown of players. And yeah, man, the Buffalo Bills, they started this one out in control. We scored the first touchdown in the first quarter, but it doesn't feel like that. Because that after that drive, our offense dried up. We had 90 or under 90 first half yards, and the Bills, it was a domination from them. The second quarter, they exploded to score 17 points, and it was a mirror from last week with the Chiefs. We're down 10 at the half, and then coming into the third quarter, I think we scored first, and then they answered. So, I mean, you feel like, okay, we're all on a roll. Is this going to happen again? But they come out and answer, and we realize we're in the midst of a dogfight. We finally do take the lead, go late into the the game, but they play their cards right, and they end up back on top. Scored a touchdown late, and we have to come out and score that last second field goal. So it was a game that went down to the wire, and we going into overtime. And the Bills, before the half, they get conservative. There was some play calling. I'm like, what are y'all doing? They had 20 seconds to go. They had a timeout. Yeah, they're on their side of the field, but you at least take a shot. I mean, Sean McDermott, you play ultra conservative there. That just confused me. But they settle just to kneel the ball and go into overtime. They get the ball first, and then they miss on the play. So they did miss some opportunities. And that's one that they'll definitely regret, getting on that bus, plane, whatever it is, going back home, basically selling for being 6-6, while the Eagles pull out another one with the walk-off touchdown with Jalen. Oh boy, it was a long ass game, almost 4 hours, 3.5 plus. So well-deserved win, come from behind win again in the second consecutive week. Really 4 games in a row we've been down 10 points, and then we overcome that deficit. So just, man, you have the utmost amount of confidence in this team. So let's break down the Bills side first. So Josh Allen came out and had 29 of 51 for 339, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Interception was his fault. He didn't see it. We'll get into that later. They were trying to get digs on, what they commonly do, go into those linebackers. There was a linebacker matched up with him, fooled him on the coverage. He thought that, he was going to... he was going to be the one that they beat, but it was actually a cover 2, playing underneath. Shout out to the guy we'll get to later. But they had Josh Allen, throwing this one way too much. He was their best option. He averaged 9 yards a pop, had 81 yards, 2 TDs, and yeah, he was able to get some key first downs and gash us. But James Cook, 2.69. Latavius Murray, 3.3. Ty Johnson, 3.17. They weren't doing anything really on the ground. I mean, they had a couple runs where they were able to break contain, where we had guys like Nolan Smith who didn't set the edge on the outside. And We also had one of our key guys in the linebacking court go out late in this match, compromised us there. But we were able to play the run game, particularly one of our guys in the middle, who we'll get to later. But he had to play hero ball, and I know you're looking at 29, but what about the 50? The number of the 51 that weren't completed? Because he only had, at half, he had about 209 yards, and then after that, he had about only 130 yards. He passed for. And so we changed our strategy to deal with him a little bit better. And yeah, he still had a touchdown in the pass in the third and fourth quarter. Or I want to say a touchdown pass after only one touchdown pass, and he ran it in. So it wasn't like he lit us up after halftime. So the halftime adjustments mean, once again, key for the Eagles. And credit Sean Desai. Let's be honest, our team was not helping us out in the early going. These 17 first half points, they scored 10 points off of turnovers. 3 points on a field goal and then 7 on a touchdown, because they were able to take advantage of our the interception we had. Leonard Floyd, we'll get to that later, why he was able to make that pick. But also the exchange handoff that pretty much killed. So I think that was the one they scored a touchdown on, deep in our territory. I think we were about the 20 or so when a Hurts exchange went wrong. We'll get to that player and why. I believe it's on him, but it is what it is. But if you account for the quarterback, if you put him into the rushing game, yeah, great numbers. But outside of that, they didn't really have much doing. So I'll live with those numbers, and I'll live with Josh Allen being the one who hurts us, because he's also, like, you could see where when guys were tackling him, they were worried about how they're going to bring him down. Cunningham spinning him around twice. You don't do that with a quarterback, unless you're worried about losing control and slamming him, and then it's an extra 15. Like, the guy's huge. You got to bring him down by some, means. And Tony Romo clamoring for the horse collaring that was not horse collaring. Like, the guy has to, where am I supposed to put my hand? Or I'm only allowed to use one. Hey, it's just ridiculous, man. Biased commentating. So, anyways, Gabe Davis, he was able to find some zones, and he beat guys on coverage, so he had a solid day. But I'll live with those numbers, as well as Stephon Diggs, 6 for 74. He had two explosive plays, really, and that's about it. 11 targets, we were able to hold him. Gabe Davis, he missed on half of his targets as well. So those guys didn't hurt us as much as we think. It was this guy here. He had 6 of 57, but the one that he missed would have been a touchdown. He was on the sideline, and I think it was either Nicholas Morrow or Cunningham on him in space, and it was just enough of a distraction in this kind of game. It's just inclement whether he lost the ball or I don't think it was overthrown. I think he just lost sight of the ball and was able to track it. And in a dry game, he probably catches that and scores. But it worked out in our favor. So I want to say on that play, we got up in his face, Josh Allen. So he didn't have time to throw the perfect throw. And that's what I loved about Sean Desai. He didn't let him get comfortable sitting back there. He brought pressure, even at times when it seemed like it was obvious. He still brought pressure. But it's the end goal, accelerating that clock in Josh Allen's head and making him throw. Field goal, there were I'm going to say 2-3 passes where he threw the ball. I'm like, what the hell are you throwing the ball early for? You still have time, but he's already in that mode. You successfully sped up the clock in his head, and you've gotten to him. So it worked. Khalil Shakir went off last week. This week, 3 for 47. You'll live with that. Dalton Kincaid, 538. He was really open early, but late, I don't think he was really a factor. Tavis Murray, one of these was really a big dump off catch, I think, for a first down. The other one, just a couple of yards here or there. But yeah, man, I'll live with those numbers. They didn't really, the numbers look eye popping, especially with the top two guys. But yeah, Smitty had more yards than him, but I would say they made more of an impact. I don't know. It doesn't look as bad as it was. Khalil Shakir, I remember the fumble. I think it might have been on special. Yeah, I think it was on special teams, so he was feeling a kick, I want to say. Terrell Bernard, that one interception, we got fortunate. He was in the right. He was in the area, right place, right time. It was tip up in the air by Leonard Floyd. So let's get to these other guys. Michael Hyde wasn't bad in coverage. I mean, early on they were playing some really solid blanket coverage, and I love the way Tony Romo pointed that out on the film. It was really like a moving front that you see like in like Attack on Titan or something like that. They were really moving as like 1, 2, 3. Just take liberty, put that guy in the middle, like a sheet, moving with the offense instead of like letting them run into coverage. It was a blanket coverage where they were covering them as they went. So, and then I love on one play, Devonta Smith was able to kind of come into that curve area and expose like there that they were leaving uncovered because they were constantly moving back. But it was a beautiful play call to beat that coverage because it was very difficult. They flummoxed us early on, and it made me reminded me of the Jets game where they were short staffed, so they relied more on zone coverage because they were playing like 100% zone coverage, no man, because they didn't want to get beat, which I understand. But with that, there's gonna be holes, and eventually we're gonna keep poking and prodding and find them, so which we did. Rasul Douglas, he had some tight coverage. Definitely, he's improved since he left Philadelphia, but still wasn't enough at times. Teron Johnson, he had some good plays, but he also gave up some. Jordan Poyer, he was culpable for like a touchdown or so, but overall, man, their secondary is solid, even with the guys that they have in replacement guys, because this is the NFL. You're not gonna find too many teams that are gonna be have huge holes in their backfield unless it's via injury on the spot. But they have a chance to practice. These guys get paid too, and a lot of them have a good talent level. You saw some push on the line early, but that was mostly in the first half. Like after that, they weren't really. We settled down. Shout out to our O-line coaches and the players for getting settled in, and it just seems to be what we do, especially after the first half. DeMar Hamlin, I didn't even notice him out there, but shout out to him. Love that kid. AJ Espinosa, he was getting some rushes. Greg Rousseau was active. I think he probably was their most active defender on the exterior. Didn't notice him while Joseph and a lot of these guys. Jordan Phillips is a big guy. He had one big encroachment where he charged it to Cam Jurgens, and they were going at it in the middle of the O-line, D-line. Yeah, on sideways and still punching. Leonard Floyd had that big tip, but he got a couple of good rushes, but other than that, nothing really doing. Their kicker, that was special teams is crucial. It comes down to that, and their guy missed two. Bass, Tyler Bass, he missed two, and they were pretty much the difference in the game. He makes one of those, might be a whole different ball game, man. All right, let's get to these Eagles players. Jalen Hurts. Look at the numbers. They don't look pretty at all. 18 for 31 for 200 yards, but 3 TDs and 1 interception. So the interception, I'm going to definitely put on him because I put it on him because he threw it. He bears responsibility. But O-line, I'm going to go to Jack Driscoll. The guy played well. He allowed 4 pressures in the first half, and then after that, none. So 10%, the pressures he allowed on 30 or something snaps. We didn't have a lot of snaps. We lost the time possession battle. It was 20-40. We lost the turnover battle 2-1. And we still come out here in pockets, sharp play and scoring touchdowns, scoring points in bunches, and we win this game. That's 2 weeks in a row, and that usually doesn't happen. But we are hyper focused in the moments when we need to come back from behind, and it seems like a challenge for us. Like it's a game. It is a game, but it's not a game. But the laser focus from this team is it's honestly it's kind of scary how much we're able to do that. But they gave him better protection in the second half. Like I said, Jack Driscoll wasn't a liability out there, and I'm sure they gave him help. You can highlight that probably on tape, but they played much better. And in the play calling, they got to be better, helping them out. But it's Brian Johnson. He giveth and he taketh. So there were some good play calls, but the QB draws. He called several. He didn't there were some false starts, like on at least one of those false starts, one of them was going to be that QB draw. But I'm glad that didn't work because we called it twice on the final drive, and then it worked, and then we came back to it, had that fake screen. So that fake screen by Brian Johnson, beautiful play calling. So you got to give the man, if you're going to make him the GOAT, you got to give him the credit. I see this, so many times, but even though, there's some costly, play calls and then some plays we want back, the ones that work, man, beautiful. Like the pony personnel worked as well in his game. And I think what really made the difference is like we really just were like, okay, we got to come out and run the ball. And we committed to it, and look at the fucking numbers, man. DeAndre Swift, 14 for 80, 5.71. He was gashing their defense, man, on limited work. And this guy, he looked better, got more involved. But yeah, they couldn't stop some of those. I'd say at least the first 2 first downs that I saw, but especially the touchdown caught them completely off guard. Beautiful play design, and Jalen just strolls right into the end zone. So beautiful work by him. He surpassed Cam Newton with a number of rushing TDs for a quarterback. And then this is the 3rd year in a row he has 10 plus. Just the guy is amazing, man. Gainwell had a 2 for 26, very effective on those. But the one where Jalen, I'll admit, Jalen did put him in a bad spot. He decided super late to put it, to put it there in his belly and release the ball. I guarantee you that Gainwell thought he was just going to draw it back, and that's why he wasn't paying attention. But for me, I put that on Gainwell. It was on your body, and you just let it drop without, so casually, without a care in the world, and it gets turned over, and they go and score a touchdown, points off of that. I'm holding him accountable. I'm holding him, responsible for that. But like I said, it's not completely on him, because I'll give the sliver of responsibility to Jalen, because you put him in a bad position. And you got to work out those kinks, man. So in the handoff, that should be one of the basic plays. And we take it for granted as a pretty much a tarimaya, something that should be just whatever handled, obvious or just a given. But that could have sunk our ships today. But shout out to those boys for not letting that define us and overcoming that. Boston Scott, as usual, just makes plays. 2 for 14, 7-yard average. You need to see more Boston Scott. All right, but the running game, I'm happy that we committed that much. I would like to see more go to running backs, but I know what we are as an offense. I know what we're going to be about. So, they're going to get Jalen his touches in the run game, and yeah, it does make our team better. Running the offense through him totally, but just don't want to see him take too much punishment. And smartly, he got down on some of those. He had a first down, and he slid. So happy to see that. Devonta Smith, man, just highly underrated. I didn't even know he had these numbers, 7 for 106, and he got over the century mark today, so congratulations, buddy. He didn't finish with 99 or under 100, just under 100 on 8 targets, so he's very efficient. When we went to him, it was money. A.J. Brown, 5, not for only 9 targets, but 37 yards, similar to early this year. You can see he was frustrated because it's a concerted effort from the defense to try to take him out of the game, and there's other people going to shine, and with no consistent third wheel to take away coverage like Dallas Goedert would. I don't think he plays next week. Fingers crossed, maybe. But I definitely think he probably plays for the Dallas game if he's still on the track that he is now to heal up. We could see how, we'll see how that opens the offense back up for both of these guys, because they're having added pressure on them right now. And this guy stepped up. Olamide Zaccheaus making that with the 1 target, making that 1 reception, and man, it was a huge one. Wheeling and dealing, it was 3rd and 15. On 3rd and 15, they get a touchdown. Jalen scrambling, he's pointing Olamide Zaccheaus in the right way, and he said after the game that it was Jalen that guided him to where he went. And he gets behind the safety at the end of the corner, finds a pocket in the back of the end zone, catches the ball, gets hit, twirls and holds onto it, and comes up, fucking touchdown. And I'm like, damn, let's go, man. I was so hyped up, man. He doesn't get highlighted. He's not a central piece of this offense, but when his number is called, the guy just makes plays. So that's why for me, Quez was active. I didn't even remember Quez being in the game. He might have run some routes. I didn't notice him. I'll have to look at the snap count and see somebody else's assessment because don't even remember him. But maybe he drew coverage, maybe he didn't. Who knows? But I like Oz as a number 3, even over Julio Jones because Julio, he's older. Jack Stahl, man, came through, had 2 targets. But man, look at the disparity between the Eagles' targets and the Bills. They had a lot more, but we did more with less. Great value, no Walmart. Anyways, Jack Stahl 1 for 14 because it was one of those plays where it's a staple of ours where we had the tight end coming across the formation to block and then cross block on like the one that Hassan Reddick hurt Brock Purdy on. But we actually don't compromise the quarterbacks like that. And he's athletic, so he can probably get out of trouble himself. But anyways, he scraped across the formation. They've shown that probably ad nauseum in the game. And so he thought, he's going to block. Psych! He went out, rolled out and into the flat, caught the ball, and got 14. Even stiff-armed the guy. I'm like, great. Because, with Dallas Goedert, you got trauma. You don't want to see stiff arms anymore. But, excellent job. He plays his role so excellently that, he lulls people to sleep. Same as Oz. Lull people to sleep. They think they're never going to go to him. TD catch. Game well, decent outlet. 2, like I said, we made the most of our targets. Had 3, but caught 2. So Swift as well. A good one. It was a dump off last ditch option. So I like seeing Jalen go to his 3rd, 4th, 5th progression, showing his maturity. Early in the season he was so hyped up for the big play, wouldn't settle. Now he's doing that and keeping the offense on course, keeping us going. Julio Jones, 1 reception for 0 yards. On the screen, we got to get better with the screens. We're just kind of not eschew them. We're gonna keep running them, but it got to be a better execution. Boston Scott had a target, but he didn't catch it. So I remember that Kenneth Gainwell. It was on the sidelines. They were trying to catch it like that. Would have been a good 3rd down pick, but just was for naught. Jalen had that fumble. They're gonna credit to him. So I understand that. We'll get to that guy later, but I like that. I saw some of these deflections. Reed Blankenship was active. He just was all over the place. I think he played solidly in coverage. He might have had a play or 2 where he looked out of sorts, or not out of sorts, but he got over. Gavin Byard was active as well. He had a couple plays that he might want back, but he's looking solid. We're looking more stable in the secondary, despite what Josh Allen was able to do. If you put us on a short field and we're giving up touchdowns and stuff like that, I'm not gonna fully put that on the defense because it's tough to hold guys of 3, hold them, to keep them out of the end zone when you're short, you're given a short hand. And we worked excellently. We're gonna miss this guy. Hopefully he can come back, but he's dealing with a hamstring injury. Played well, he had some plays. Everybody, I'll say, for the most part, he had some plays, but we got the job done. Nicholas Morrow, he was solid in coverage. They were better in coverage than I thought. Christian Ellis, this guy here, coming in cold turkey is hard, but he had a play where it's a run blitz, and he comes in and hits, I think, Johnson, the running back, excellently. And then he has one where he's the GOAT, where he doesn't keep rush lane integrity, pass rushing lanes, and he rushes too far upfield, and he's in the wrong gap. And he's trying to play hero ball, trying to, to find the next man's land. We should just trust. And Josh Allen goes right into the spot where he's supposed to be and rushes in for the touchdown, I think, in the 4th quarter. And that hurt us. I'm like, damn. So, he doesn't have that much playing experience this year. So, just getting out there, giving a feel for the game. I don't think he would be a liability like he was today, but, it was what it was. And I'm glad we were able to survive it. So, Cunningham will be something to monitor to see, if he's, to one, if it's a short-term injury, or short term, but still, he misses a couple of games. So we'll have to see. And we're on a short week. We're coming off a short week, so probably has something to do with it in the grand scheme of things. James Bradbury, very solid game, man. No penalties. You saw him, getting trying to hold on for dear life. That's just James Bradbury. But that pick, man, was crucial. That stopped the momentum of the Bills. It was 24-21 at that point, and then we went up to score that touchdown to make it 28-24. He's playing in that cover 2, and it's a trap they set basically. where they throw it. You think that he's gonna fall back with the receiver. He drops underneath because that was the intention all along, and he just disguised his coverage very well and picks off Diggs. So I mean, just excellent play design there by Sean Desai. Got to give him his kudos. Jalen Carter was active, man, in the middle, pushing that pocket. So I don't think we had only one sack, and I don't even remember that one, to be honest. But and the sack numbers are down, but we were controlling the run. After halftime, they weren't as big. It was like it was always Josh Allen, the quarterback. So Roby was solid. Didn't really see him stand out too many ways, but I'm sure he had to play a couple plays he would want back, as well as Slade, man. We were playing that that soft coverage, and at times I think in the beginning, and we were just settled in. I think that just might be our strategy to lull teams to sleep, and then we make adjustments, the adjustments that we wanted to make all along, just hiding our intentions, not bearing our fangs at the last moment kind of deal. But Sidney Brown, was not out of place. Brandon Graham comes with a sack, man. He's been on for the last couple of weeks. Hassan Reddick, a couple times I saw him not out of position, but the edge. Him and Josh Sweat got to work on those things. But Jordan Davis in the interior was crucial, man. In on 4 tackles, 1, I think solo. But on that drive where he chases Allen out of bounds, if he doesn't make that effort, Allen maybe is able to cut up field, maybe get a touchdown there, and saving us more time or whatever. But he had 2 stops on that drive, and if he's not in the game, because Fletcher's already out at this point, boy, I think it's special team tackle, on the interception, yeah. Marlon, he was solid, nothing special, but he's always going to be, dependable. Jake Elliott on the field goal, man, crushed it. 1 field goal, but he absolutely fucking crushed it in inclement weather, monsoon type weather, wind is swirling all about. He comes out there, he's warming up, but he kicks a 59-yarder. Would have been good for 64, 65, maybe even a little bit more. I think it was against the wind. It curves in, but this much space into the, right upright. And it just, we just assumed that he was going to make it. I mean, just to end regulation, we needed that. If we don't get it, we're at home losing. Bills go off winners. We needed that. Braden Mann, solid punts. I mean, I'm really happy that he's been able to be consistent, man. Britton Covey, 18-yard average, man. Just returning punts. Just beautiful, man. The way he's able to, it's taken for granted. So, man, this team, a complete team win. Offense and defense turned it up later. We limited them in the second half. I mean, they scored, but it was nothing like, what they allowed on defense. And, we held them to 3 as well. And then we come out there and let the offense finish the job. So, man, exhausted, exasperated, tired, as long as this video, just extra long. So, we're going to get up out of here, but man, what a great fucking win today, boys and girls. And shout out to, like I said, again, to Tom Grossi and the Pack Squad. We're going to get up out of here, but man, you're not even watching though, but it's all good, because as always, I love making these videos. I love talking about the freaking Eagles. So we're going to chunk the deuces, but as always, it's Fly Eagles Fly, and let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.